Chapter 61. It was by far the most problematic press conference I had ever been on. Habang nagsasalita sina mama sa harapan ng madla at sa national television ay siyang pagdating ng mga pinsan ko at iba ko pang relatives. Things got pretty heated again so we had to take a break. Ipinwesto na kami ng tama at bagamat tensyonado pa rin ay naging mas maayos na. The damages were irreversible but they did try to fix it. From public apology and the funding down to labor work. Mahirap pa rin suyuin ang mga tao sa nangyari and what happened would surely reflect on the next election. My family could never ever let it go and charges were filed immediately. Let this be a lesson for us all. Power is more than what we think it is. It can ruin many lives, especially the innocent ones, without the proper hand to guide it. Power needs true and just leaders, but more importantly, it is a commitment. Our country needs these true leaders as much as power requires it to do so. I said it in front of the national television. I hope that doesn't just go through my mother and sister, but also to those who needs it. To those who have the immense power for they could wield the most honorable soldiers to become killers and turn the government into a laughingstock. Kahit tapos na ang conference, ay panay pa rin ang kanilang mga interview habang nasa lobby ng hotel. My family only answered the relevant ones and how they plan to sue the entire Thomas Industries. Sigab ang halos pinamugaran ng media ngunit kagaya ko ay hindi rin siya nagbigay ng pahayag. Is that an engagement ring? What brand and how much? That question raised a lot more but maybe the only one that Gab answered properly. Noong palabas na rin sina Mama at Alina ay siyang pagpasok ni Papa. I side-eyed the bodyguards and they immediately flocked him. Muli ay buhay na naman ang mga reporters habang halos sabay kami ng kapatid kong si Victor na pumunta sa kanilang parehong gilid. Mara. My father spoke so softly. Tito Nick, we are so sorry. Bumuhos na naman ang mga luha ni Alina. My mother, in the other hand, looked only at Papa for a second before looking away. Hinila na nito si Alina na hindi pa matapos-tapos sa paghingi ng tawad sa aking Papa. They shared one last glance before their own men encircled them. Nagkatinginan na lang kami ni Kuya. Marami pang kinailangang ayusin pagkatapos ng conference. Inaayos pa rin ang ibang mga kalsada, pati na yung gate ng Kapitolyo na nasira. Siniguro na rin na sinisimulan na ang pag-aayos sa project naming nasira. Still, the accounts and the lawsuits needed to be settled before we called it a day. It was by far the most exhausting day on my life. Buong linggo ko yung dinala kahit na nakabalik na ako sa pag-aaral ko sa med school. I juggled the scandal, a family feud, and a bunch of cases filed while studying medicine, but on top of it all, my own wedding for an entire month or two. Naku, mas maganda ka pa sa umaga, iha. Ang galing talagang pipili ng mga senyorito. The older man then clasped Gab's hand. Bumisita po kayo mamaya sa bahay. May kaunting salo-salo po doon. Gab nodded lightly. Tumingin ako sa iba pang mga trabahante na masayang nagbubulungan ng marinig iyon. Halatang excited sila lahat kaya tumango rin ako at ngumiti. Sila ang mga bumungad kaagad sa entrada ng hasyenda. Ang sabi ni Gab ay malayo-layo pa raw iyon sa kanilang bahay. I waved at the little girls who were curiously looking at me. Mabilis silang nagtago sa palda ng mga nanay nila. Nagtagal din ng kaunti ang pag-uusap nila. Gab looked so carefree and light compared to his people back in the city. I haven't seen this side of him yet and I was very intrigued. Bago kami pinaalis ay pinabaunan muna kami ng kung ano-anong mga prutas kaya kotse pa lang ay parang nabubusog na ako. We passed by the greenest lands that seemed to stretch until the horizon. Sobrang ginhawang tingnan ng kapatagan. I saw all those farmers in their work and even had to stop because of the cows and chickens crossing the street. Tawa ako ng tawa habang binibidyohan si Gab na binubusinahan ang mga walang pakialam na hayop. Let me try! I said laughing while I pressed the horn. Wala na lang din nagawa si Gab kung hindi ang tumawa. We had to stop for a few times too because Gab really knows a lot of people here. Bagay na bagay sa kanyang makihalubilo. They all looked up to him, so I know that they really did a good job here at keeping this place and its people. Hindi ko tuloy alam kung alin ang mas gusto ko. Ang Gab na nasa itaas ng napakalaking building at nagmamando ng mga numero, o ang simpleng buhay dito sa kapatagan. I love you, Gabriel Diamiano! I shouted at the top of my lungs after I opened my window. Halos pagtinginan kami ng mga manggagawa sa magkabilang kalsada. Gab cursed while laughing. Stop it! They're gonna think I'm carrying some wild animal with me. Gab chuckled and shook his head. But I love you! I pouted and hugged his neck even while driving. I love you too. Tumatawa pa rin siya. I pouted some more. I tried to move my other hand to his chest down to his abdomen. Gab groaned in my ear before capturing my wild hand. Chris, I'm driving here. A ghost of smile landed in his pretty lips. I love you. I whispered again while wriggling my hand free. Napapailing na lamang si Gab at hinayaan ako sa gusto ko. I whispered the same words again while finding his belt buckle and whispered it again as I carefully maneuvered my wrist. And I whispered it again as I felt him there. I love you. So, so bad. I giggled and kissed his cheek. Chris. His tone held a warning, but he was already driving to a more secluded area. Kung saan man dumapo ang tingin ko, ay sa kanila pa rin kahit anong lingon ko. At kung malingonan ko man, yung puno ng manggang yan, wala man sigurong mali siya kung huminto kami saglit para hindi kami mabangga, hindi ba? O baka mas gusto kong habang nagmamaneho lang. We arrived a couple of minutes late. I was really trying hard to keep my mouth shut because this wasn't near a dumb house. It's a freaking mansion. Iniisip ko pa lang ay baka kahit doblehin ang mansion namin ay hindi tatapat sa kanila. I never even knew they had this enormous hacienda. My head spun at the possible properties they could also own. Our wealth could not even come close to theirs. Nakaposisyon ang mga trabahante habang inaanunsyo ang aming pagdating. Formal na formal sila kahit panang ihatid na kami sa loob. It was a Victorian style with different shades of wood and classic materials built the entire mansion. On top of the grand staircase was their family portrait and just beneath were his parents waiting. Mama! Papa! This is Chris. Chris, my parents. His father Adonai looked just like him. Same dark hooded eyes, same dominating stance, and the same hair color if not for some of the gray areas. I figured he would just look like his father, given a few decades. The only difference was the way he spoke and looked at me. He was very gentle and warm. His mother, Camille, however, didn't have the same vibrant attitude. I knew it in an instant where Gab got his ruthlessness. It was from this woman who looked intimidating, especially with the flawless arc of her brows and the thick accent. Despite the overpowering aura around her, she possessed a beauty nobody could contest in her age and even in mine. She aged regally. Do you plan on working with my son at the company before or after the wedding? Tanong kaagad sa akin ng kanyang mama nang kumakain na kami. Halos si Papa lang niya ang kausap namin at tuwing magsasalita ito ay nagpapanik na ako. No matter how strong of a woman I was, I get shit scared because it's his mom in front of me. Si Gab na kaninang kinakausap ang dalawang kapatid ay napatigil. I silently looked at their youngest sibling. Mukhang mas malupit. I'm still working on that po. I need to finish my internship first, but working at the company isn't a bad idea. I smiled curtly. How can you work at the company if you're busy making rounds at the hospital? Oh crap. Mama, Gab interrupted, and I breathed out mentally. Si Jerome sa tapat ko ay tahimik na bumubungis-ngis as if he already knew that I'll suffer today. She can help if she wants to, but if she doesn't, that's also fine with me. She's also building her career and it will never be a problem. Gab leaned on his chair. Studying and training to be a doctor takes a lot of time. How can she be present at the company? And what about years? Paano kayo makakabuo? Tanong ng mama niya. Ma, my brother will definitely find a way. Right, kuya? Jerome laughed like a maniac. Kung pareho kayong busy, kuya, you will find a way, right? Oh my gosh. Halos masamid ako sa iniinom na tubig. Mabilis akong dinaluhan ng isa sa mga nakatayo na trabahante. Her mother only looked at me briefly before turning to her eldest. Camille, it was his papa. Well, honestly, narating naman na namin ni Gab ang topic na yan. Sabi ko sa kanya ay birth control muna ako dahil mahirap na. Gusto ko rin muna sanang matapos ang internship ko o hindi kaya ang residency bago magkaanak. Pumayag naman siya pero ngayong mama na niya ay nauubusan na ako ng dugo. Well, at least she's not canceling me. Boto pa rin naman siya sa akin kaya lang pressured na ako kaagad magbigay ng apo. My brother will definitely find a way. Isn't it right, kuya? Si Jerome pa rin na tumatawa. Shut up, si Gab. Jerome laughed even more. Tumigil lang ito sa isang tingin ng isang Camille de Amiano. Make sure Jerome knows all his duties before leaving the company and not any day less that you will return once your honeymoon is over. Sabi pa rin ng mama niya. Yes, mother. I am expecting, Gab. Ngunit sa akin, siya nakataas ng kilay. I am expecting. She repeated again. Whew. The meal was too painful to say the least. Hindi ako halos nakakain at nakagalaw para bang laging nakabantay ang kanyang ina sa mali kong gagawin. But it's kinda alright, I guess. It's only her maternal instinct, so it's kinda be fine with me. We spent the whole week in their hacienda, even with separate bedrooms as per ordered by her mother. The mornings and afternoons we spent together were spent fucking. The hacienda was indeed the most beautiful and it was too painful to leave. Umalis kami ng hacienda, umuwi ng syudad, at nang bumalik ay ilang taon na ang nakalipas. Whew. Indeed, reaching my goals took a lot of time. After finishing my med school and internship, I was now at the last year of my residency. My family faced a challenge a few years back but we faced it together. Mas mabuti na ang lagay ni Papa ngayon under my special care. Of course, he gave up politics eventually but my brother who was now a senator comes in for advice on occasions. Like a deja vu, I was once again welcomed by the vast lands of the Hacienda de Amiano. More workers were housed and the fields turned gold as the sun rays hit the crops. 3 rings sat on my fingers as we sped up to our mansion. Magandang hapon po, senyor. Magandang hapon po, doktora. They all greeted as we hopped out of the car. Hili-hilerang mga trabahante ang nakaposisyon sa aming pagdating. Hawak ni Gab ang aking kamay at may binubulong sa aking tenga. That earned him a smile. The large double doors opened and he let go of me in an instant. Daddy! Mommy! Loud voices echoed at the walls of our mansion. Little balls of energy were outrunning all their helps as the both of them sped down the grand staircase, only to get caught at the hands of their father. At dito na po muna natin tatapusin ang ating pagbabasa sa ngayon. Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Bagamat ito na po ang ending ng story, ay may gusto pa po ang author na sabihin or twisted events sa storyang ito na maaaring mangyari. So, ayan, abangan po ang aking pagbabasa sa mga huling kabanatang yon. At muli, akong nagpapasalamat sa masugid niyong subaybay sa mga pinasa nating kabanata. Maraming salamat po at sana hindi kayo magsawang makinig sa aking pagbabasa. Ayan, kung nagustuhan mo ang episode na ito, ang ating pagbawakas, ay pahit naman ng like button dyan at mag-comment down below. And kung hindi ka pa nakapag-subscribe sa ating channel, hit the subscribe button at bell all na rin para ma-notify ka kung kailan ang bago nating upload. Ayan. Maraming salamat. Hanggang sa muli.